AI is our future.
Not over my dead body. Even a technical failure can now be seen as a reason to revoke your license to shop, effectively making you a trespasser the moment you step back into the store.
There's a Trespass Act of 80, like a
You go to the supermarket, grab your groceries, and head to the checkout. Only now, instead of handing your items to a cashier, you are the one doing the scanning, the bagging, and the troubleshooting. These machines frequently fail. A barcode doesn't scan, the weight sensor glitches, or a phantom item registers on the screen. Because you are managing the entire process yourself, you might not even notice the error. Before you reach the exit, security pulls you aside. You don't get the chance to simply pay for the missed item. Instead, you are handed a formal legal notice banning you from the store entirely. Retailers are increasingly enforcing zero-tolerance policies. They are taking standard machine glitches and basic human errors and treating them exactly like intentional crimes. To enforce these bans against everyday shoppers, supermarkets rely on an expansive network of overhead surveillance and facial recognition technology. If you accidentally miss a case of water at the bottom of your cart, you probably assume you can't be prosecuted as a shoplifter because you never actually intended to steal it. Retailers know this. Rather than taking you to court, where they would have to prove you tried to steal, they are using a legal loophole to bypass the justice system entirely. Criminal theft requires two mandatory elements: Actus Reus, the physical act of taking property, and mens rea, the mental intent. If you make an honest mistake scanning an item, that mental intent disappears. Without it, it's a processing error, not a crime. Proving exactly what was inside a shopper's head is notoriously difficult for a store's legal team. To avoid that burden of proof, massive retail chains have weaponized an entirely different, decades-old set of property laws to expel customers without a trial. The Trespass Act of 1980 was originally drafted to help farmers protect open pastures and private dwellings from physical intruders. When a business opens its doors to the public, it grants shoppers what the law calls an implied license. This allows anyone to enter the property freely until the owner explicitly revokes that permission. Today, national supermarket chains use this rural property law to manage high-traffic commercial spaces. They argue they have the absolute right to revoke a shopper's license for any reason, treating a massive grocery store like a private living room. By relying on trespass law instead of criminal theft law, a store manager can ban you for years over a scanning error without ever having to prove you intended to steal. Your legal status inside a store actually shifts depending on your actions. When you wander the aisles browsing, you hold a bare license, which the store can revoke at any time. But the moment you start scanning your items at the terminal, you initiate a transaction. Your status upgrades to a license coupled with a contract under the Consumer Guarantees Act. That act dictates that any service provided by a business, including the automated checkout machine itself, must operate with reasonable care and skill. If a retailer issues a trespass notice because their own automated hardware glitched or failed to register a barcode, they are unilaterally punishing the consumer for the store's own technical failure. Legally, that borders on a direct breach of contract. Rather than addressing this technical friction, the government is tilting the scales further toward the stores. The proposed Trespass Amendment Bill of 2026 radically expands retailer power. This map illustrates the proposed multi-location ban. Under this new legislation, a minor self-checkout error at your neighborhood grocery store could result in a blanket ban across an entire national retail network. The bill also introduces a deemed knowledge clause. If you walk away from a frustrating, malfunctioning checkout machine before a staff member speaks to you, you can still be legally trespassed without your explicit knowledge. By stripping away the requirement for clear face-to-face communication, these amendments grant retailers maximum leverage over consumers. You will often see aggressive store signage claiming that mistakes automatically result in a trespass. By misrepresenting accidental errors as mandatory penalties, stores are likely violating the Fair Trading Act. Supermarkets are essential providers of food. Banning individuals from these quasi-public spaces over technical errors directly threatens basic freedom of movement under the New Zealand Bill of Rights. Retailers have a legitimate right to protect their property from actual theft. However, when they choose to replace human cashiers with automated systems, they accept a margin of error. The financial cost of those technical failures cannot be paid for by stripping away natural justice and consumer rights.
No intent in your heart, but a slip of the hand.
I'm glad that AI documentary educate, inform, and inspire people about real-world issues.
Elevate your perspective.